Welcome into Texas softball on LHN, and we got a good one coming up for you tonight. The Bevo Classic continues with a top 10 matchup between number 10 Texas and number 9 Alabama. Alongside Amanda Scarborough, I'm Alex Loeb, and Amanda, it's right there on paper. Two top 10 teams and two teams coming into this one on huge winning streaks.
Yeah, this is definitely one that you look at, you look forward to whenever you look at the full schedule. And this is one when you look at this weekend, one of the best matchups of the entire weekend, maybe one of the best pre-conference matchups that we're going to see out of any team in the country.
As for Alabama, their pitching staff has been on fire as of late. They haven't allowed more than one run in each of their last 8 contests.
Yeah, of course, anchored by Montana Fouts, their 3-time All-American and SEC Pitcher of the Year. She's been on fire, just coming off of a perfect game against Longwood. Jayla Torrance also threw a no-hitter last weekend against Robert Morris. Lauren Essman is throwing well for them, too. This is a staff right now that for sure is anchored by their All-American pitcher, but the rest of the pitching staff is stepping up around her. In the last 8 games, they've thrown 51 innings, only given up 15 hits, and just 1 earned run, 2 runs in general. So the defense making plays back behind them, and they're getting quite a few strikeouts.
Unreal numbers for Patrick Murphy's squad, the NFCA Hall of Famer, the winningest head coach in Alabama history. In his 25th season in charge of the Crimson Tide, Murphy's won 78% of his games and sends out a lineup that comes into this one, Amanda, hitting .323 on the season.
I like the way that Ashley Pringy, the senior and transfer from Ohio State, has been swinging the bat early on this season. She has already hit 8 home runs, leads the team in RBI, and what makes her so good in the 2 spot is that Allie Shipman in the 3 hole is hitting behind her, so she gets even more pitches to hit. A really nice start to a senior season for Pringy.
Prangy and the Crimson Tide will be going up against Mac Morgan, the sophomore transfer out of Arizona State, getting the start tonight for Texas.
Looking forward to watching Mac Morgan, the sophomore, pitch tonight against Alabama, getting the ball under the lights. Of course, transferred in from Arizona State, going to be more down in the zone, throws hard, 68 to 70 miles an hour. Going to live mostly with her drop ball, mix in a few changeups and rise balls here and there, but definitely has a bulldog mentality, who wants to compete. See what the pitching strategy is for Texas, who has a deep pitching staff behind Mac Morgan.
Texas has won 11 straight, 16-1 at home. Patrick Murphy's squad has won 8 in a row, 19-3 overall on the season. So here we go, a matchup 4 years in the making. Had to cancel 2 series over the past few years. And this is the first meeting since the 2019 Super Regionals. Number 9 Alabama and number 10 Texas underway here for McCombs. And it starts with a strike from Mac Morgan.
The thing that you get to when you play a team like Alabama is not only a top 10 matchup, but you get a team that enters into this stadium used to big games, used to playing under the lights, used to playing in front of a big crowd. They're used to that at their own field, and they're used to that when they travel.
Kenley Cahalan, the star freshman out of Trussville, Alabama, #1 ranked prospect in the nation coming out of high school. And she has lived up to that billing, leading the team in batting average and hits, riding a 6-game hitting streak.
Remind you, she graduated high school early to be here for this season. She should still be in high school right now, but instead she's leading off for Alabama.
Started off her career with a 14-game hitting streak. Over to short, Martinez is there, 1 away. The defense for Texas, Katie Simmons getting the start behind the dish. The infield, Washington, Martinez, Good, and Day from left to right. And in the outfield, Dayton Scott and Maloney. 1 away for Ashley Prangy, the 5th-year senior. Swinging away, backing up is Good and makes the grab. Quick 2 outs.
Texas seemed to have a few different options that we thought might get this start today. And at the end of the day, Coach White going with Mac Morgan. And when you look at Texas's stats against ranked opponents up to this point, they've played 7 games against ranked opponents. It's been Mac Morgan who he's actually leaned on the most, who of those 7 games, she's gotten 4 of the starts and has the best ERA at 1.75 against ranked opponents, which is lower than her season ERA.
Coming off a win against UT Arlington on Wednesday night, allowed 2 runs in 4 innings. Ball 1 here to Allie Shipman, the second team All-SEC catcher out of California.
They work both sides of the plate with that drop ball. Has very good command with that pitch.
Over to second. Texas infield busy in this inning. It's a 1-2-3 frame. 8 pitches from Morgan gets the job done. On to the bottom of the first. We go. Mike White's team, 19-2-1 on the year. They've won 11 in a row. His offense came into the tournament with the second best batting average in the nation, leading the way, the freshman out of Tolleson, Arizona, Vivi Martinez.
Such a productive freshman there at the middle of the order for Texas, always coming up, doing whatever it takes to push across runs.
They will be going up against the 2021 NFCA Pitcher of the Year, 3-time All-American Montana Fouts.
Yeah, she's won just about every award that you can as a pitcher. And when you think of the biggest named pitchers in our sport right now and who gets the most attention, it without a doubt is her, their followers and following.
Strike 1 to Leanne Good. Fouts riding a 27-inning scoreless streak heading into this one.
She's going to throw hard. She's going to throw 70 miles an hour. She'll mix in a rise curveball and also a drop ball. She is a strikeout pitcher. She can pile them up fast. What I'm looking for is how she uses her off-speed pitch. That has been a question mark the entire her entire career since she was a freshman. Always known as a hard thrower, but using her off-speed pitch a little bit more in her senior year, and she needs it.
Making the 100th start of her career. Now ahead 1-2 to Leanne Good. Good came up with a couple of hits earlier today in the win against Wisconsin. The freshman with 2 RBIs and now hitting .442 on the season. It's the first time Texas has faced Montana Fouts in 1,385 days. The deciding game of the Super Regional against Alabama that the Crimson Tide and Fouts won 8-5 to send them to the Women's College World Series in 2019.
It's going to be up to Texas to lay off of that rise ball. It's a pitch that she wants to throw. It's a big strikeout pitch for her, and it's going to be up to Montana to see how low she can go to get them to swing at it and how high she can go to get them to expand.
Chopped back to Fouts. 1 away. Mia Scott coming up to bat, the sophomore out of Angleton, Texas. Had a couple of walks against Wisconsin and has reached in all but 1 game so far this season. 21 of 22.
Love to see the strikeout to walk ratios that all the pitchers that we've seen have this weekend. Just pitchers that attack the zone. They're not going to give up a ton of walks. For example, Montana, 114 strikeouts, just 11 walks. She's going to find the strike zone often throughout the game, and that's what also helps her throw that perfect game that she threw last weekend. Lots of no-hitters and perfect games in her career.
That's an unreal ratio.
It really
114
is.
to 11.
In comparison to Mac Morgan on the other side, 24 strikeouts to 9 walks. So more of a pitch to contact type pitcher for Mac Morgan. Still finds ways to get outs in a different way.
2-1 to Mia Scott. Texas's offense averaging 8 runs per game. Scored 5 against Wisconsin, the 6th highest scoring team in the nation. Against the nation's leader in strikeouts.
That's what makes it such an intriguing matchup, right? That you have a pitcher like Montana Fouts, who is experienced and one of the best pitchers in the country, against one of the best offenses in the country in Texas. What a test for them and their young team filled with freshmen and sophomores, all these underclassmen, to get this test against Montana Fouts early in the season.
Scott takes one to deep left field on the run, off the glove of Johnson and left. Scott racing around the bases, slides into third, and Texas with a runner in scoring position with 1 away here in the first.
Mia Scott got a good piece of the 70-mile-an-hour pitch from Montana Fouts and just got to contact. Went the opposite way. It's going to go down as her second triple of the season. That ball just continued to carry, and Jenna Johnson tried to track it down. It was so close to being fair, maybe being foul. In fact, this play is going to be under review. It was called fair. Hit off of Jenna Johnson's glove. Good base running by Mia Scott to use her wheels. As soon as she sees that off of the glove of Jenna Johnson, when you have her speed, she is thinking 3 all the way, and she gets there. But we'll see when they take a look at this. It's under review if it stands.
So just like that, a little bit of controversy as we will take a look at this one.
I will say, too, it is good, and I feel like if I were an umpire, I'd probably be more inclined to call it fair based off of the fact that you can then go back and review it and change it to foul. If it's called foul, you can't review it. So it's going to be, it's a really tough play, and I don't know if there's going to be enough. I don't know if there's going to be enough to overturn it. It's a tough call for an umpire because of the angle she's taking, the way that the ball is moving, how it bounces off of her glove.
That's the thing to overturn it. You would have to find something conclusive.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be enough to have it be conclusive that this would be overturned.
So if the call stands for Mia Scott, that would be her second double of the season. As Johnson in left field trying to track that one down. They continue to look at it.
Is it going to go down as a double or a triple?
They're scoring it a triple right now.
We'll see. Never know. You never know.
Alabama's defense came in,
I think,
with a fielding percentage right around .970 this year.
I don't think that there's just any way to have enough evidence to say that you're going to overturn this to a foul ball.
We hear they're done with the review. Let's see what the result is. Call stands. Triple for Scott.
Second triple that we've seen today for Texas. Goes right to their speed, and the fact that they've gotten a couple of bounces off the wall where an outfielder has, the ball has gotten away from an outfielder.
So the Longhorns in business here in the first. Here is Alyssa Washington. Entered the Bevo Classic. One shy of the team lead for RBIs. 20 on the season for the junior from Abilene.
There's that curveball that she'll throw. Oftentimes that curveball too might have a little bit of down movement to it. Her hand kind of comes over the top, but good outside corner, get back into the count.
Washington, a .318 hitter this year with runners in scoring position. 2-1. Texas top 10 in the nation in on-base percentage. Trying to strike first. Swing and a miss for strike 2.
It's a nice drop ball there that you'll see her oftentimes mix in too. She's really known for her rise ball and for her curve ball, but she can't throw that drop ball whenever she sees that hitters are letting that up pitch go and not biting at it.
Washington fights that one off. Texas hitting .381 on the year. Pretty much a packed house, at least in the regular stands here at McCombs Field. Two on the way. Swing and a miss, and a big strikeout for Montana Fouts, second out of the inning.
Went up and in on the hands. That was a foul ball that Washington hit back behind her, then back to the drop ball, low and away. Set her up for that pitch. You're thinking about up, you're so worried. Montana Fouts, rise ball, and then she goes to that drop ball for a strikeout with a runner on third. That is a huge second out in this inning.
Her 115th strikeout of the year in her 66th inning. 2 away for Courtney Day. Day went 3 for 3 against the Badgers earlier today, and hitting .404 on the year, off to the best start of her career at the plate. Chopped over to third. Prangy is there. And Texas gets a triple from Scott, but they strand her at third. Scoreless after 1 between Texas and...
Changes the world.
It's a great shot right there for McCombs Field. Plenty of Longhorns and Crimson Tide fans on hand for this one, the first of their 2 matchups this weekend. Check out the pitching we have on hand in the Bevo Classic. Throughout the next 48 hours, Wisconsin top 20 in the nation in ERA. Texas State always great pitching. Bama and the Longhorns top 35 in the country. Montana Fouts. So much talent in the circle here in this mini regional. I mean, that's what it, you said it in the last broadcast. What did Mike White say? It's probably tougher than a regional.
Yeah. Nothing like a March regional, right? That is what it feels like, though, with the quality of teams, the quality of pitchers. I mean, it is tough in this day and age to have a team ERA under 2.0. This goes to show these teams have complete staffs, that they don't just solely rely on one pitcher to lower that ERA on her own.
Bailey Dowling leading off against Mac Morgan. Morgan got a 1-2-3 first inning, couple of ground outs. Curls foul. It's an Alabama team that was picked to come in 4th this year in the SEC, according to the preseason polls, behind Florida, Tennessee, and Arkansas. Turned 11 players from a year ago. Added 3 transfers and 5 freshmen to Patrick Murphy squad. Dowling sends this one to right center. Maloney underneath it.
Getting her out in front of that changeup, the first changeup that Matt Morgan has thrown in this game.
One away for Emma Broadfoot. Already 3 wins against top 25 teams this year for the Crimson Tide. 8 shutouts. That pitching has just been tremendous. Of course, Ashley Prangy, 8 home runs already this year. Emma Broadfoot, junior transfer from North Alabama. Now behind 0-2.
And Alabama's had a busy schedule too, because they had a tournament last weekend, and then they had a midweek game Tuesday, a midweek game Wednesday, Thursday they traveled, and here we are on Friday. So a lot of games for them in a short amount of time, and you put travel on top of that, and also their midweek game on Wednesday wasn't a home game. They had to travel to UAB, which just, you know, it's only an hour away, but it's still the process of traveling and adding extra hours to your day.
You saw them in Clearwater earlier this year where they went 3-2. They beat Florida State by 1. They beat Duke by 1. Beat UCF by 1. But there's a strikeout for Mac Morgan against the Tide. Morgan's first of the night.
Move this pitch down through the zone. When she gets a strikeout, it's likely to be on this pitch. Drop ball right below the knees. Good location for that. Tough to get your barrel down to that pitch for a right-hand hitter.
First time through the order this year, Morgan has been absolutely dominant. Here's Callie Hevlin. Swing and a miss. That was really the conversation Mike White had with Morgan earlier this year, trying to tell her to pace herself, because early in games she has been brilliant. Hevlin over to short. Martinez throws that one away off the glove of day. First error of the contest for Texas.
And Martinez just got to this ball really well and just let it sail. I like to see Courtney Day. She stretched a little bit too soon for that. More stretched to her lateral side than toward Martinez for that one.
Jordan Stevens at the plate. So Day charged with the error. Runner on first. Hevlin can motor. She's got 7 stolen bases on the year, only been caught once. Jordan Stevens over to good, has to wait for it. And the inning comes to an end. Still no hits for the Tide against Mac Morgan, scoreless in Austin.
P. Allison, he's a Longhorn legend.
Montana Fouts, 3-time All-American, one of the best to ever do it. 6th all-time in strikeouts in Alabama history. She's getting closer and closer to 1,000. Would become the 5th pitcher in program history to do that. After 1 tonight, she's up to actually 973 now, but just all over the record books in Alabama.
Yeah, they'll bring her in late to close games, so she'll pick up some saves. Of course, they want her to start games, so she's able to pick out some wins. 27 shutouts and close to 10 strikeouts per 7 innings.
Here's Vivi Martinez. Takes strike 1 from Fouts. Martinez entered the Classic number 9 in the nation in batting average. Hit .515, drove in 2 runs earlier today against Wisconsin. And we're talking about this Alabama team. So they won 4 games in Clearwater, but then they suffered some losses against teams maybe you wouldn't expect. Kennesaw State, a team that was 5-13 last time we checked. They talked things over. The pitching staff came together after that. They've been on fire ever since, as Fouts with another strikeout.
Montana Fouts going up and away to Martinez. Even though she's on top of the plate, she's still able to get her a swing underneath that pitch, outside corner. 2nd strikeout for Fouts.
For Vivi Martinez, that was just her 2nd strikeout in her last 12 games. Katie Simmons getting the start at catcher. Well, Fouts gave up the triple to Scott since then. She struck out 2 of her last 3. Alabama went through a recent shutout streak of 43 consecutive innings, 6 straight shutouts. Unreal numbers.
Yeah, they have a new pitching coach, Lance McMahon, who came over from Illinois. Stephanie Van Brakel Prothro moved to Memphis to be the head coach there. Stephanie played at Alabama, had been at Alabama forever, so that was a big change in their program to get a new pitching coach, and it's taken a little bit of time just to get to know each other, especially when it comes to pitch calling and working with each other in between game weekends and just finding a completely new rhythm.
Simmons takes one to shallow left field. That'll drop in. Texas with their second hit of the night off Fouts. Texas now 2 for 6 so far against the All-American. And here comes Ashton Maloney, coming off consecutive multi-hit games. Maloney hitting .481, top 30 in the nation.
Yeah, you mentioned that loss, though, to Kennesaw State. And it was after that loss that Lance McMahon brought all the pitchers together, brought the pitching staff together, and talked to everyone, had a heart-to-heart with each member of the staff on Tuesday after that loss. And since then, it just seems like they've really turned a corner to attack hitters, be more aggressive. Just continue to understand it takes a little bit of time to have some patience. Good pitching coach. Coach Murphy really liked the way that he developed pitchers when he was at Illinois. It was something that drew Coach Murphy to go and get Lance McMahon and ask him to come to be the pitching coach at Alabama. And prior to that, he was at LSU, got to work with Beth Torina, who was their head coach and their pitching coach at LSU.
Has that staff in a rhythm now. Last weekend, they didn't have to make a single call to the bullpen. Fouts so far, a couple of strikeouts, a couple of hits given up through an inning and a third. One, 2 to Maloney. That one gets away from the catcher, Shipman.
Maloney will still be out. First base was occupied on a drop third strike, so she's going to go ahead and that will be a strikeout. But Simmons will be able to advance on the wild pitch or pass ball, whichever they're going to call it, but it's going to go down as a wild pitch. So Texas really benefiting from wild pitches today against Wisconsin, and here moving to scoring position or closer to scoring with the wild pitches that they've had when they've been on base.
You talked about it earlier. With the talent in this tournament, to see so many tight games come down to plays like that. We saw it happen in each of the first 2 games earlier today. Here's Bailey Brandon, the transfer from LSU, heading into this weekend. Had started 3 of the previous 4 games before the Wisconsin matchup. In those 3 starts, 2 home runs, 2 doubles, 3 runs driven in. On a tear. Watches that one go 1-1. Top 30 recruit in the nation, coming out of Leander a few years ago. Went back-to-back with Katie Simmons on Wednesday night homers, but behind here 1 and 2 to Fouts. Swing and a miss. Montana Fouts, strikeout number 4 through 2 innings. This one ends the second. It remains scoreless after 2. kind of what we expected, right? Pitcher's duel here heading into the third inning between Montana Fouts and Mac Morgan.
Yeah, we've seen quite a few low-scoring innings, low-scoring games in general today, going back all the way to the start of the game when Wisconsin and Texas State went to extra innings. It was scoreless through regulation 7 innings. And even though the score between Wisconsin and Texas ended up being 5-1, it was 1-0 for the majority of the game.
Yeah, that was a 1-0 game heading into the fifth. As you said, the first game, Texas State and Wisconsin scoreless heading into extras. And neither team has scored yet tonight in this one. The 8, 9, and 1 hitters due up for Alabama. Here's Jenna Johnson. Veteran outfielder starting her 110th game for the Crimson Tide. Nearly took the head off Faith Hensley, who was in the on-deck circle. I like how you laugh.
Yeah, because it's just more like, whew, glad that didn't hit her, you know. Scary. Two hard-throwing pitchers in this game, Mac Morgan and Montana Fouts, both touching 70 miles an hour.
And Mike White talked earlier in the season. He said, listen, when Morgan is pitching, that defense of Texas, they're going to face a lot of ground balls. The key is, can they be clean out there behind her? Texas has improved in that department over the last half-dozen games. But one so far tonight. Morgan a year ago with Arizona State went 18-3. The Sun Devils make it to the Super Regionals.
I like the height of that changeup that Mac Morgan just threw at 58 miles an hour. Really good height, got Jenna Johnson out in front. A couple of the changeups that she's thrown already in this game before that pitch were left more up in the zone, which is just a little risky, but the height of that last changeup was much better.
Battle going on here between the leadoff hitter Johnson and Morgan. Alabama right now 0 for 7 to start off the game. Pitch number 7 of the at-bat results in a strikeout. Number 2 for Mac Morgan.
Ends up still staying down in the zone, but makes this drop ball curve a little bit right at the end. She comes across her body with the end of that pitch and gets Jenna Johnson to chase a few inches off the plate. Good pitch and a second strikeout of the day for Mac.
Here is the reigning MAC Player of the Year. Speaking of Faith Hensley, the grad transfer from Ball State, who began the year on the USA Softball Player of the Year watch list. Just a tremendous addition to this squad. Hitting .294 this year. Last year hit .407 with 17 home runs. Ahead 2-0. '97 career RBIs with Ball State. 5 so far this year with the Tide. 2-1.
About the experience that Mac Morgan got last season before she transferred into Texas. Just invaluable experience as a freshman at ASU.
Hensley over to short. 2 away.
It just pays off to pitch in those big games as a freshman and not just be a freshman on the team and get a few innings here and there. But when you're a freshman, you're in the mix of pitching in the big games on the road, pitching in the ranked matchups. Of course, ASU last year, if I'm not mistaken, Pac-12 champs. So not only pitching in those games, but getting the wins, understanding what it takes to go up against a quality opponent like a Texas or like a Wisconsin in a weekend. And not just play well, but win.
Playing well so far tonight. First time through the order. That's where she's been so dominant. Alabama went 0 for 9 against her. Back up to the top we go. Kenleigh Cahalan, talented freshman. Over to third. Washington is there. 1, 2, 3 innings. Still zeros on the board. We'll talk to Patrick Murphy, head coach of the Crimson Tide, coming up next.
UFCU. Invest in yourself.
Welcome back to McCombs Field. We move on to the bottom of the third inning, scoreless in this top 10 matchup. And we're now joined by Alabama head coach Patrick Murphy. Coach, what do you need to see out of your offense right now as they go up against Mac Morgan?
Yeah, just better timing. And I think a couple times we had positive counts and we took the pitch. So just be on time with a fastball, with a drop ball, whatever. We're late a little bit. Need to get the foot down just a little bit earlier and be on time.
Coach, what's it like to put your team in these situations on the road, ranked matchup, pre-conference game like this? What's that feel like for a coach, and why do you do it?
Oh, it's awesome. You know, when we looked at the schedule, we knew we were going to be at home the last 2 weekends. I was like, okay, we got to go somewhere a little hostile before SEC play started, and Texas had an opening in this tournament. And, you know, it was a no-brainer for us. It's in the same time zone, so travel was easy. Obviously, the atmosphere, the field, the competition is great. Austin's a great city, so it was easy for us. And hopefully this is going to get us ready for SEC play next weekend.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Patrick Murphy and number 9 Alabama. They've won 8 in a row. 19-3 on the season. Montana Fouts struck out 3 of her last 4. Facing Bella Dayton to lead off the third. Dayton went 2 for 3 earlier today against Wisconsin and hitting .480 since returning from injury. So we mentioned Patrick Murphy's squad, 3 wins against ranked teams already this year. That one off the glove of Fouts, and Dayton's going to reach.
So good at leading off an inning down there, coming from the 9-hole. When she leads off an inning, she's now hitting above 600. Puts the ball in play. Tough play for Montana Fouts to go down. Remember, she's over 6 foot tall, so for her to go all the way to her glove hand side and down to try to reach that ball, that's such a tough play for her. Bella Dayton got to get on first easily. Now you have speed at 1.
Texas now with the hit in each inning off of Fouts. Back up to the top of the order, and Leanne Good. Dayton can run, but teams don't run on Alabama often. They've only allowed 6 stolen bases on the season. She was going as Good fouled that one off.
She sure was. Have Allie Shipman back behind the plate, transfer from Tennessee, a veteran on this team. You have a really veteran battery between Fouts and Shipman. 2 leaders for this Alabama team.
Good, cranks one to left. That's a fair ball. Dayton flying around the bases, and she will hold up at third for Leanne Good. That is a double. Texas's 2nd extra base hit of the night.
Look how quickly that Leanne Good's hands get to this pitch. She has such quick hands to get to this pitch up and in. That pitch is even a little bit off the plate, but she is looking for a pitch on the inner half and gets her barrel there. She smoked that ball by Ashley Prangy, who had no chance of stopping that line drive. It whizzed right past her head, all the way to the outfield wall, and Texas is in business now with 2 runners in scoring position.
That they are, with Mia Scott at the plate. Scott tripled off of Fouts in the first inning. Texas 2 hits in this inning and 4 for 10 so far against Fouts.
some good at bats early in this game and some hard hits. And like Mike White said, you know, we're going to take our strikeouts against Montana Fouts. I'm sure he relayed that same message to his team, but we can't get down 4 strikeouts first time through the order. There's that off-speed pitch. She's not going to throw it a ton. That's not going to be her best pitch, but it's a pitch that she has to throw and a pitch that she's worked on her entire career. It's probably looked the best in her senior year so far.
Fouts with 118 strikeouts on the season. Texas with a triple in the first, a single in the second, and a single and a double here to start off the third. One and two.
Stop by Allie Shipman. She makes it look so easy because she catches Montana Fouts all the time, but 70 miles an hour that kind of handcuffs you like a drop ball like that, not easy to handle, and she makes it look easy.
Scott doesn't strike out often, nearly twice as many walks as K's for the sophomore. And works the count full. Scott walked twice earlier today against Wisconsin. Pitch number 45 on the night from Fouts. Called strike 3.
A strikeout when she needed it the most. She's a strikeout pitcher. This is what she's done her entire career, even with her back against the wall. Paints the outside corner with what looks like just a fastball or a screwball right at the knees. Good job of Allie Shipman to help frame up that pitch. Mia Scott does not agree, but Fouts gets the call.
That is the third time tonight Fouts has followed up a hit with a strikeout. Alyssa Washington over to third. Prengy goes home. They have Dayton in a rundown, reaching for the tag. Texas takes the 1-0 lead. Bella Dayton very slow to get up.
It's a hard hit ball to Prengy, and the runner is right in front of her. She knows exactly what to do. Bella Dayton has to change directions, gets herself into a pickle, and then just takes off so much faster than Ashley Prengy as she took off with that quick speed as she headed home. But to see her walking off, she looked like she had a bit of discomfort after she scored, but Texas scores first.
Dayton has taken some hard falls this year. She broke the wrist during fall ball. Then earlier this year, about a week ago, she took a spill in center field and was awfully slow to get up. And right now she'll head back to the clubhouse. But bringing home the first run of the game. Here is Courtney Day. Runners on second and third. Still only 1 out.
If you're Alabama, you're just kicking yourself that you didn't get an out there. It would have been the second out. Caught a runner in a rundown, but Texas's speed continues to pay off in this inning and within this season.
Shipman and Fouts talking things over. With Day at the plate, Courtney Day went 3 for 3 against Wisconsin. 0 for 1 so far in this one. Good at third, Washington at second. And pitching out, you have one of the best hitters in the nation on deck in Vivi Martinez. At least batting average wise. The umpires A quick conversation.
Possibly discussing the count, making sure that the count is right.
What do we have? We have 1 out. We just get the out.
There you hear the conversation, making sure there is only 1 out. Well, what do you make of this decision?
It's pick your poison, right? Would you rather Courtney Day, who's been so clutch in her career and more of a veteran type player, played in some big games, or Martinez, who's a freshman and off to a hot start? There's no easy answer, but I think that your defense likes playing in general better with the bases loaded, less than 2 outs. Makes a force at the plate.
So here we go, runners all around for Texas. Vivi Martinez coming up top 10 in the nation. Martinez is in hits and batting average. Fouts struck her out in the 2nd inning. So we'll see what happens here in the 3rd. Bases loaded for Texas. They've already scored once in this inning and still just 1 out. Martinez takes one to left field. 1 run comes in. Washington heads home. That's going to be a 2-run double for Vivi Martinez.
Martinez looking for a pitch to hit early in this count, and Montana Fouts, with the bases loaded against the RBI leader for Texas, goes to her changeup, 57 miles an hour, and it's up in the zone, and Martinez is just being able to identify that pitch, sit back on it, and drive it the opposite way, finding a gap and plating 2 for Texas with that 1 swing.
The freshman Martinez now with 4 RBIs in the 2 games combined today. Here is Katie Simmons taking strike 1. So Alabama intentionally walks Day to get to the freshman. She is now on 2nd. Day's over at 3rd. Simmons singled off of Fouts in the 2nd inning.
How crazy is it that Vivi Martinez is hitting over 600 with runners in scoring position this season?
And is not cooling off. The true freshman just continues to hit above 500 on the year. 0-2 to Simmons. Well, we were wondering how this matchup would play out. One of the best offenses in the nation versus one of the best pitchers. We were scoreless after 2. Texas has plated 3 here in the 3rd. Swing and a miss. Fouts with strikeout number 6. It's kind of been all or nothing for her.
Yeah, you're right. It really has.
Six strikeouts, 5 hits allowed. She fanned Ashton Maloney in the 2nd. Here's the redshirt freshman. Pokes one foul.
And what a fire starter that Bella Dayton is at the bottom of the order for Texas. When she's had a chance to lead off an inning in both games today, she's been the one that has started the big innings for Texas with her speed and gotten on.
Dayton led off the inning with a single. Was caught in a rundown and outran the tag from Prangy at 3rd to score the 1st run of the game. Vivi Martinez brought in the next 2. Here's Dayton looking okay in the dugout after taking a while to get up before. Seems to be all right. 0-2 with 2 away.
Let's go back to the pitch call with Martinez, and hindsight's 20/20. It's like being the Monday quarterback, right? Or whatever the saying is of, like, you're always questioning the play call or whatever, but it's a tough pitch to call, an off-speed pitch to the Martinez, who's one of, if not the best hitter for Texas this season. The bases loaded, close game.
Turned out to be a huge decision. Prangy on to first, and Texas scores not 1 more run, but 2 more as Day and Martinez come home. 5-0 Longhorns.
I've been so impressed with the speed players, the lefties for Texas today against Wisconsin and now against Alabama. Doing a good job of putting the ball in play, putting pressure on a defense. Alabama has had a couple of chances in this inning to get outs, and instead Texas has gotten runs instead.
Here is Bailey Brandon. First error of the game charged to Alabama. Allows 2 runs to come in. His pitching staff, had been so good. We talked about coming into this one, utterly dominant. A stretch of 43 consecutive shutout innings at one point. And that is now history.
So many close plays in this inning. Remember, the inning started with the ball that bounced off of the glove of Montana Fouts that easily, if it just is a few more inches over, probably ends up inner glove and an out. The play to Ashley Pringy at third, trying to go home to get the out. And then this last one to her as well. And challenge today in this game.
(3-1) now from Fouts. She's already up to 61 pitches. And we're still in the third. 30th pitch of the inning coming up. And that will bring Patrick Murphy out to the circle. Well, what do you think so far, Fouts?
You're right, it has been kind of all or nothing, right? I think that Texas has come to hit. They've come to prepared for her velocity. And Mike White said when coming into this game, when we asked him about hitting off Montana, he said, we can't stretch the zone against her. We're going to have our fair share of strikeouts, but we can't be worried about that. Have to be ready to hit the mistakes. And I do think that Texas has been ready for that and taken advantage of Alabama mistakes, which they've done all day.
Texas 5 for 15 off Fouts. A triple, 2 doubles. Taking advantage of an error as well. And the 3-1 on the way to Bailey Brandon. Fouts had a 27-inning scoreless streak coming into this game. Hadn't given up a run over her last 7 appearances before tonight. Foul ball. Texas has scored already as many runs as this one as they did the entire game against Wisconsin. Strikeout number 7 for Fouts. But Texas scores 5 times in this inning. Vivi Martinez with the big 2-run double. The freshman continues to get it done. And the Longhorns lead it 5-0 after 3 here in Austin.
And continue Sunday on ESPN2.
Number 10 Texas leading number 9 Alabama as we get ready to enter the 4th now, joined by Texas head coach Mike White. Coach, what did you see out of your offense in that 3rd inning against Montana Fouts to kind of break it open?
Well, I think our timing was better. We were getting Pitta pitches to swing at, and when she made a mistake, we paid him. We made her pay for it. And, of course, that short game set it up as well, so it was a great job by Bella.
Coach, what do you want to continue to see out of Mac Morgan as we go through this game?
Keep the pitch count low. You know, don't let them see you too many times. Just keep an attack and let our defense play.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thank you.
You're welcome. Welcome.
Mac Morgan had some time there to relax and think as her offense nearly hit around in that last inning. So you have Fouts, who's up to about 62 pitches, and Morgan, who's only at 34 as we begin the 4th. Ashley Pringy leading things off. The 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming up.
you're Alabama right here, second time through the order, you've got to find a way to answer and bring back some momentum to your side. It's so hard to get down on the road, and especially tough to get down on the road when you know that you've made some mistakes. So what can you do about it? A lot of ball game left in this game. You can make the most out of your at-bats, find a way to get on and get some runs across, chip away.
Again, the first time through the order against Morgan, they went 0 for 9, and we're just pretty much beginning the second time through. Bringing her second year at Alabama, spent the first 3 at Ohio State. Now ahead 3-0. And Simmons heads out to the circle. It will be interesting. We keep saying the second and third times through against Morgan. We've seen other teams have success. Now will she fare here against the Tide? First 3-ball count of the night for Morgan. And a 4-pitch walk to start off the 4th.
That's the thing that you just hate to see as a coach. Your team gets the lead, and then your pitcher gives up a leadoff walk. And she knows, you know, we're not talking about anything that Mac Morgan doesn't know herself, that she wishes that she could have some of those pitches back and go and attack a hitter. But those long innings, when you sit for a while, it takes a little while to get back into things sometimes.
Here comes the all-SEC catcher, Allie Shipman, hitting .351 on the year. Last year had 20 extra base hits, drove in nearly 50. That was in her first year with the Tide after spending her first 3 in Knoxville. Good underneath it. 1 away. Shipman now 0 for 2. Here is Bailey Downing in the cleanup spot.
Number 7, Aiden Allen.
13 homers over the last year and a half for the junior out of St. Joseph, Illinois. Had a huge home run in Clearwater against Florida State. And ended up being the difference in a 1-run victory over the Noles. Alabama came in tonight averaging right around 6.5 runs per game, but the offense to 5 runs total over the last 2 contests.
That's when it helps to have pitchers that haven't been giving up very many runs. It's a big weekend in college softball because SEC conference play starts this weekend. So Alabama ended up having their bye weekend, the first weekend out, so they're here.
Martinez unable to handle that one, and Alabama in business here in the 4th.
You can tell right now that Martinez just not real comfortable today at shortstop. Getting a little ahead of herself on that one. You could tell she was already peeking, thinking about the force out at second base before the ball was in her glove.
Multiple errors today for the freshman. Can the Crimson Tide take advantage? Here's Emma Broadfoot.
Well, I think you have to. It's not a question of can they? Yeah, absolutely. But if you are Alabama, you have to answer back right here. And I know you could say, well, you know, it's just the 4th inning. Yeah, that's great. But they just gave up 5 runs in the bottom of the 3rd inning, and answer back even with 1 run would be big. for the team.
Well, Patrick Murphy said this is probably one of his biggest concerns, getting hits with runners in scoring position. He said it's been an issue last year, 2-out hitting with runners in scoring position. He likened it to being in the red zone in football. When you get in the red zone, you got to score.
That's what Texas has done such a good job of today. When they've had their opportunities, they've made the most of them.
Called strike 2.
It's a good pitch by Mac Morgan. And if you're Emma Broadfoot, you're just kind of probably shaking your head like, dang, on 2-1, you're going to throw me a drop ball that's a little bit off the plate. And at 70 miles an hour, 68 miles an hour, it's not a great pitch to hit, but well, she's down to 2 strikes.
Broadfoot struck out in the second. Stays alive there.
I love that Mac Morgan went right back to that pitch, but just a little bit lower, a little bit more inside. She has such good command with that pitch. She'll continue just throw it on repeat. Different spots in and out, work that pitch outside, inside, inches off the plate, inches down.
Two on the way. Broadfoot. Mac Morgan is there, back to first. They get 1 for the second out of the inning. Alabama still yet to break through against Morgan.
Second baseman number 22, Kelly Hempel.
Here comes Callie Hevlin, the sophomore out of Three Rivers, Michigan, former Michigan High School Player of the Year. 2 away, still with 2 on. Alabama tonight 0 for 4 with runners on so far.
Alabama has gotten a couple of good pitches to hit. That was a good pitch to hit right there. That was a miss, more over the heart of the plate. And Bailey Dowling had a couple of good pitches to hit too that she had some good swings on. And that's the difference, right? Fouling those pitches off versus driving the ball to the outfield. Now Mac Morgan headed with an 0-2 count.
Morgan with a couple of strikeouts, a walk, and that is all. Scott is there, so Alabama gets 2 runners, and they strand them both. Still 5-0 Texas. Texas's offense breaking through in the 3rd inning. It was a scoreless game, but Bella Dayton got things started. Leadoff hit, then evades the tag. Texas scored 5 runs in this inning, Amanda. That was the most runs Alabama has allowed in a single inning all year long, and it ended up knocking Montana Fouts out of the game.
Yeah, big inning, 5 runs in that inning, including intentionally walking Courtney Day to get to Vivi Martinez. First pitch, she steps up, gets herself a couple of RBI, and then taking advantage of some Alabama miscues out on defense. And I think that wanting to pull her, saying, okay, we're down by 5 runs, let Texas see her a little bit, but I think at this point you're going to want to save her to bring her back against Texas tomorrow.
65 pitches in 3 innings. 5 runs, 3 earned, and were placed in the circle by the redshirt sophomore Alex Salter, the righty.
Steps into a pretty big situation, and her job right now is just to keep the score where it's at. Coach Murphy told us coming into this weekend we have 3 unproven pitchers behind Montana Fouts, and what a great opportunity for Alex Salter to step into this game and say, hey, you can rely on me against a good offense.
As an ERA just under 3 on the season, 11 strikeouts, 2 walks. Last year went undefeated in 15 appearances. A couple of years ago, Salter number 11 recruit in the nation coming out of high school, facing Bella Dayton. Just continues to get it done since coming back from injury, hitting 500. That one hauled in on her knees by Johnson.
I love the way that Bella Dayton is just playing the game so far this year. Used her short game in both games against Wisconsin earlier today, and then earlier in this game against Alabama. So what does she do? Infield's drawn in. She keeps her feet still, and she crushes a ball to left field to get some love from her teammates about that swing, and they like what they see.
An absolute gamer, but Johnson was there, one away. Back up to the top we go. Leanne Good, 1 for 2 with the double. Good now with 8 doubles already on the season. There's another hit for the freshman. We mentioned she had, quote unquote, cooled off a bit, hitting 263 over her last 5 games heading into the weekend. Well, she had 2 hits against Wisconsin and 2 more tonight against Bama.
A couple of freshmen in this game have identified changeups really well and sat back on them and driven them back toward the middle of the field. And Good seeing a 53-mile-an-hour changeup and driving that ball right back center field.
Here comes Mia Scott, tripled off Montana Fouts in the first inning. Struck out in the third. Tonight marks the first time since February 26th that Alabama has allowed more than 1 run in a game.
I think it really does help, Alex, for Texas's offense to have seen Peyton Monticelli, the Wisconsin pitcher, cut before coming into this game, because she was more upspin, using her rise ball, really good deceptiveness and movement. And so then it makes it maybe a little bit easier, if it can be possible, to hit against Montana Fouts, who is more up in the zone and a hard thrower too. So I like to always pay attention to who is the last person that they faced, especially in these tournaments with double headers. To me, it really does make a difference. And now they go to Salter, who's more down in the zone with the drop ball and a changeup to give them a different look, try to keep them off balance.
For Alabama, this is their first game of the Bevo Classic. Texas is second. Wisconsin already played a couple. And Texas State won. Alabama had been so good. You talked about it, the turning point, that loss to Kennesaw State. The staff had a heart-to-heart. Pitching coach Lance McMahon, and since then they had been lights out heading into tonight. Hard to believe at this point last year, Texas ahead of the pace offensively that squad was putting together with the likes of Iacopo and Jefferson and such. The freshman, Good, Martinez, the redshirt freshman, Maloney. Added to the returners like Scott. And they are doing a number on opposing pitching. Two from Salter.
I said this on the 7 Innings podcast, but I feel like within the Big 12, it's just a really common theme of new faces making a huge impact. See it, whether that's a freshman stepping up or freshmen stepping up or transfers coming in and making a big impact. I feel like that is a big theme within the Big 12. A lot of young, talented players stepping up in this conference.
Well, you had two last year, a lot of players who had extra eligibility kind of riding out that final year and now making room this year for some of those new faces.
Very true.
Leanne Good, a top 3 infield prospect in the nation. Full count to Scott, over to second, on to second for 1, and that's all they get.
It does seem like, though, Alex, year after year, the Big 12 gets a lot of the big name transfers. You think about the transfers that Oklahoma got that this past season. 4 of the biggest named ones: Sydney Sanders from ASU, Haley Lee from A&M, Alex Storako from Michigan, and Elena Torres also from ASU. And Oklahoma State always gets a lot of transfers. Like quality players, big name players transfer into Texas, Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma, and Baylor has several transfers as well.
And how much of that, at least when it comes to those first 3, is due to the fact that there's some of the top-ranked teams in the nation: Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, top 5, Texas, right now top 10. You mentioned Baylor. They beat Oklahoma earlier in the year.
They did.
And then lost a few this week to Boston University.
Yeah, and then Long Beach, 2 losses in one day for Baylor, who have been playing well. But I think the Big 12 is being a little bit more top-heavy than the SEC. I feel like the SEC might just be a little bit deeper. And, of course, Texas and Oklahoma will go to the SEC, which is just going to make that conference absolutely even more insane.
Quick throw back to first, not in time.
Think about it, we're just kind of getting a preview of what's to come in the SEC. Seeing this game and then one tomorrow against Alabama and Texas.
It's going to be like this almost every weekend in a couple of seasons. Washington pokes one to shallow right. That's going to drop in there past the diving Hevlin. And Scott holds up on third. Texas with another base hit and a runner in scoring position.
Alyssa Washington just hangs with this changeup. Not a bad pitch location at all, but she just dumps it into right field in front of Hensley and just out of the reach of a diving Hevlin. Texas just continues to make things happen, finding a way to get on base.
At least a hit in every inning. Scott on third, Washington at first. Here is Courtney Day. They intentionally walked her to load the bases in the third. Vivi Martinez drove in 2 in the next at bat. Courtney Day, 12 walks already this year, just 3 shy of matching her career high.
I'm not joking. You won't hurt you. We're on.
Swing and a miss for strike 2. Day with 5 home runs on the year. Takes ball 2.
It's a good location there by Alex Salter. Not able to get the call. Good take by Courtney Day.
Called strike 3 inside. Day can't believe it. First strikeout of the night for Salter out of the pen. And it remains a 5-0 Texas lead after full. If you're waiting for Texas baseball, it's coming up on the app. It'll start at 6:30. And you can catch it on LHN following the conclusion of this game. But for now, when first pitch gets going, guys get underway. Turn on the ESPN app and check out the Longhorns taking on Manhattan in the first of a 3-game set. Here we begin the 5th inning. Longhorns in control. Mac Morgan cruising through the circle up to this point. And ready to face the 7, 8, and 9 hitters. Jordan Stevens takes strike one. What have you seen out of Morgan tonight?
I like the way that she's throwing a lot of strikes, a lot of confidence in both sides of the plate. She's not just relying more on one or the other, and just like her mentality. I'm not going to see her have the lowest batting average against her in the nation, but because she competes, she finds a way to get outs, throws a lot of strikes, gives her defense a chance to make plays.
Mike White said she's like a bulldog out there. She just attacks relentlessly. Stevens back up the middle. Good. Handles it smoothly over at second. One away now for Jenna Johnson. Veteran outfielder, the senior out of Franklin, Tennessee. Alabama had their best threat in the last inning, 2 on, with only 1 out, but could not take advantage.
Let's go, Jenna! Here we go now!
One and one.
You know, looking back last year at Mac Morgan's freshman year at Arizona State, actually got the most starts out of anybody on their staff. 22 starts last season, pitched the most innings on the team. That experience that she got last year pitching with Trisha Ford, too, who's now the head coach at Texas A&M and a great pitching coach that she got to work with and now gets to work with Mike White. It's a highly sought after transfer that was in the portal. A lot of teams wanted her, knowing that she's just a competitor and give you some quality innings.
She shut out Mike White's team here last year at the Texas Classic. That grew up working with cows on her grandfather's farm. A little bit of everything. Sophomore out of Creighton, Missouri. Said she was watching Texas in the Women's College World Series and could just feel something special coming through the screen and wanted to be a part of that. UT coaches made contact with her after the season, talked to her, and she said that wasn't what convinced her. It was the entire team reaching out to her afterwards, texting her, saying, come on over, come to Austin, be a part of this. We'd love to have you. Felt wanted and decided to transfer to the 40 acres. Washington is there, 2 away.
I think the cool thing that the way that she is and goes about her business is that she's not overpowering. She's not going to get big strikeout numbers, but she owns who she is. She knows what she needs to do to command her pitches, be able to work inches, pitch to contact, and even a pitch like that, jam up a hitter, easy fly ball for her infield, just catch.
Two away now for Faith Hensley. And hits her.
Just talking about her command. And
just the second batter to reach against Morgan. 1 hit batter and 1 walk.
Shortstop, Kelly Cahalan.
Back up to the top of the order now with Hensley over at first. Kenley Cahalan, the dangerous freshman, hitting .387 in her first year with the Crimson Tide, #1 prospect in the nation. Here's a player in her first year with Alabama. Patrick Murphy said, what do you think about hitting leadoff? She said, well, I haven't done it since 8th grade, but I'll give it a shot. And it has absolutely paid off. Reached in 19 of her first 20 career games. But behind 0-2.
Yeah, gets down 0-2 here, but really likes too the way that Cahalan has been taking her walks. Finding a way to get on base. Down with 2 strikes here, but a nice job of that so far this year.
Yeah, patient freshman, 16 walks, twice as many strikeouts as she had. 8 strikeouts on the year. Trying to spark the offense here with 1 on and 2 away. And that one gets away from Simmons. Second straight inning now. Alabama has a runner in scoring position. Pitch number 70 on the night. Over to left field. That's going to drop in. Hensley will hold up at third. Runners on the corners now with 2 outs for Alabama.
Good 2-strike hitting for Kenleigh Cahalan, the freshman. Able to sit back on this changeup that is left more up in the zone as she's able to locate that down more at the knees or about shoelace height. You'll get a ground ball to the left side instead of a line drive, but Cahalan taking advantage of that mistake.
And the no-hitter has come to an end. We saw Citlali Gutierrez take a no-hitter into the 6th inning earlier today. Morgan's bid comes to an end here in the 5th. And we talked about, okay, 2nd and 3rd time through the order. What are we going to see? 46 strikes out of her 70 total pitches. Last 2 have reached. Hensley got hit. Cahalan singled. And Ashley Prangy, the first team All-SEC third baseman, due up.
Of course, 3rd time through the order now that they're being able to see Mac Morgan, and we talked to Coach White about, you know, what's his message to her this 3rd time through the order, trying to keep people guessing and off balance. And he said a couple of things. 1, climb down. Usually you talk about with the rise ball pitcher to climb up in the zone, but for Mac being more of a drop ball pitcher, wants her to climb down through the zone to expand the zone there.
And Mike White is going to make a change in the field. Looks like Katie Simmons may head out to first, and the freshman Reese Atwood will come in behind the plate. Well, a moment ago, we saw a passed ball. And now Simmons will head over to first, and Atwood, the freshman, takes over behind the dish.
Like what we saw of Reese Atwood earlier today, already caught a game when Citlali Gutierrez was pitching. Does a nice job receiving. It's a really good arm too.
Dangerous hitter coming up, and Ashley Prangy, one of the best power hitters in the nation. 8 home runs already on the season. 6th in the country. They need her to come through here if they want to get back in this ball game. Alabama tonight 1 for 6 with runners on. Prangy gives one a ride to deep left field, and that is gone. A 3-run bomb from Ashley Prangy. Alabama is right back in this ball game.
Can't tell if this was Mac Morgan trying to go up in the zone or if it's just a pitch that was left hanging. Regardless, Ashley Prangy puts a swing on a mistake, and finally Alabama able to capitalize at the plate on a mistake out of the hand of Mac Morgan. What a beautiful swing by Ashley Prangy, who is having quite the senior season, providing all the power. This Alabama team with 9 home runs.
Third time through the order. And Morgan absolutely dominated a ranked Kentucky team earlier in the year. And it wasn't until the third time through that the Wildcats broke through Alabama with a huge 3-run blast. Now within 2. There's Allie Shipman at the plate in the 3 spot. Over to third. That's a foul ball. Estelle Czech warming up in the Texas bullpen. We saw her warming up earlier today as well during the Wisconsin game, but she did not have to come in.
This all started with that hit by pitch, too, to the 9-hole to turn it over the order to the top to get the bat in the hand of Kinley Cahalan with a 2-strike hit to pass the bat to Ashley Pringy with that first pitch home run.
This one sent to left center field. That's going to drop into the gap. And Allie Shipman ends up on second. Third time through the order now. Alabama 3 for 3 with a homer, a double, and a single.
Alabama being aggressive early in the count. This is the third pitch at bat for Shipman. Gets their barrel to that 68, 69 mile an hour inside pitch. Ropes that to the left center field gap to back up the Ashley Pringy home run. Puts herself in a scoring position.
Bailey Dowling represents the tying run. And there's ball 1.
That's what, you know, we were just talking about what Mike White was telling us to climb down. It seems like this third time through the order, everything has been left more up in the zone. That's why she's getting in trouble, and I think that's why we're going to see a pitching change.
And Mike White heads out to discuss things with the umpire. And it looks like that will be it for Mac Morgan. Take a timeout in Austin. We got a 2-run game here in the 5th inning. The junior Estelle Czech takes over in the circle for Mac Morgan, 5-1 on the season with a team best 1.41 ERA.
You gotta love that, you know, that you have Estelle Czech in the hole to back up Mac Morgan or whoever is in the circle. She brings the energy and relief. She brings the energy in the circle. She's such a good complement to coming from the left-hand side.
Morgan responsible for the runner on second. Here is Bailey Dowling. The count 1-0 as Czech enters the game. And it misses. Now the question is, do you think about bringing Montana Fouts back into the game?
It is something to consider, right? But it does seem like in this game, Texas was seeing her well. Can't just say that it was, oh, it's just the defensive mistakes that they had. They were hitting her pretty hard when they were making contact.
Simmons calling for it. Czech comes in and gets the out. The inning is over, but Alabama right back in this ball game thanks to one of the best home run hitters in the nation.
The senior season that Ashley Pringy is putting together has been something special. She gets Alabama.
Changes the world.
Game summary. Texas took a no-hitter into the 5th inning. They got offense from Vivi Martinez early on, Leanne Good, but Pringy with a big 3-run homer. And it's a 2-run game heading into the bottom of the 5th inning. Vivi Martinez leading off. Now, this was a concern of Mike White's early in the season. Both of Texas's losses on the year and their one tie were the result of big blown leads. Couldn't hold on to an 8-3 lead against Northwestern, lost by 1. Couldn't hold on to a lead against Virginia Tech, lost by 1. And couldn't hold on to a 4-0 lead against Kentucky, ended up in a tie. We'll see if they can hold on here. Salter remains out in the circle for Alabama, the sophomore. Martinez put Texas up 5-0 in the 3rd inning. They walked Day to get to her. And she delivered a 2-run double. There is another base hit for the freshman. Automatic.
Hits the ball so hard, too. So even if it's on the ground, it's a hard hit ground ball, and it's able to scoot its way through the infield. Heavlin playing a little bit more up the middle. If she was positioned slightly different, a couple of steps over, it just would have been a 4-3. Instead, a hit for Martinez.
She's 2 for 3. Here comes Katie Simmons, who singled in the second inning. Texas now out hitting Alabama 8-3. They knocked Montana Fouts out of the game after 3 innings, threw more than 60 pitches. 5 runs, 3 earned.
Salter falling behind on both of these hitters. 2-0 to Martinez, base hit. 2-0 to Simmons. Right now,
some action in the Alabama bullpen. Jayla Torrance, the junior, warming up again. These teams will face each other tomorrow as well. Torrance coming off a no-hitter on Sunday. But here is Salter with 2-1. Ball 3. Texas currently 3 for 6 against Salter since she replaced Fouts out of the pen. Alabama only allowed runs in 1 inning, but that was the biggest inning they've allowed all year. 5 runs in the 3rd inning scored by Texas. Salter had thrown the fewest innings on the season on the Alabama staff, just 16 2/3 before tonight.
I think that they're giving her the opportunity to come in behind Montana Fouts, seeing if she's able to complement her with her changeup and her drop ball that she likes to throw.
Big spot, runner on first. 3-1 coming up to Simmons. That'll reach the stands. Nice grab on the hop.
I think it's going to be a much bigger crowd tomorrow night. 4 p.m. start time on a Friday night. Trying to navigate your way down I-35 to get to this field, it just sounds miserable.
That sounds miserable at any time of the day.
At any time.
Payoff pitch, and we'll do it again. Three-two. Hevlin is there for the first out.
It's a big out for Salter to come from behind in that count and get an out.
Trying to keep it a 2-run game. Ashton Maloney due up. Maloney with 2 hits earlier today against Wisconsin, 3 on Wednesday night against UTA. In this one, she struck out in the second against Fouts and reached on an error in the 3rd. Lays down the bunt. And she is out.
I think that's what the fans are saying. I'm not sure that's quite what the umpire back behind the plate is calling, Chad Steers. Essentially that her foot was out of the box or that the ball came back up and hit her while she was in the box. Either way, I think she's going to get another chance.
Maloney hitting .464 on the season.
And ended up coming back up and hitting the bat twice. Bounced off of the ground and then back up to her bat. Good call by Chad Steers to notice that right away.
Another opportunity for the redshirt freshman.
And by the way, a side note to Chad Steers being back behind the plate. If anybody saw the clip
waiting
of the
for this.
Parrots at the UCF game, it was a viral clip. It went viral on all kinds of news channels. Parrots flying around the field at the UCF game. He was back behind the plate. The parrot lands on his shoulder. And I mean, there's a lot of people that have seen that clip. So that was Chad Steers. He's famous.
It's a big strikeout for Salter for out number 2. Did it land on his shoulder in play?
They had stopped play, but and they were watching the beautiful birds fly around.
They are beautiful. Well, discussion here. They're saying there was dirt in the catcher's eye. Shipman. The all-SEC catcher. We'll clean that out a little bit.
That's what those drop balls will do to you, you know? They hit the ground, throw up a piece of dirt.
By the way, kudos to Salter. I mean, those are 2 big outs
Major.
against one of the top offenses in the nation in a pressure-packed situation. Martinez led off the inning with a single. She's still at first with 2 away. Here is Bailey Brandon. 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Back up the middle, over to short, on to second, and the inning comes to an end. Salter and the Tide defense gets it done. On to the 6th inning we go. A 2-run.
Green light.
This top 10 matchup living up to billing here as we enter the latter innings. Top of the 6th. Texas hanging on 5-3. They exploded for 5 runs in the 3rd inning, the most runs Alabama has allowed in an inning this year. The Tide struck back in the 5th, a 3-run homer from Prangy. And here is Estelle Check, who came on to replace Mac Morgan in the 5th inning, faced 1 batter. And here she is in the 6th. 5, 6, and 7 hitters due up. Emma Broadfoot leading things off for Alabama. All 3 of Alabama's hits on the night coming in the last inning. A homer, a double, and a single. Broadfoot, the transfer from North Alabama, spent 2 years there. Drove in 85 runs, hitting nearly 350. Watches the count go 2-1. Estelle Check pitched an inning of relief Wednesday night against UT Arlington with a couple of strikeouts.
Good swing right there.
Broadfoot with twice as many walks as strikeouts this year. Swing and a miss. Big strikeout for Estelle Check.
You know, expanded the zone on a full count, but I have a feeling that Estelle Check just kind of knew that if she could spot a pitch there, even though Reese Atwood was setting up on the outside corner, that ends up under the hands of the right-handed hitter Broadfoot for the strikeout. So not sure if Atwood thought a different pitch was coming or if Check just missed her spot, but you know, strikeout's a strikeout.
Check came close there, but she still has not walked a batter in 3 weeks. 21 consecutive innings. The 1-0 to Callie Hevlin. Sends one to center field. Scott drifting over and makes the grab in front of Maloney. 2 away.
Has to be such a bummer when you're an outfielder and you run all that way and a ball finally comes to you in the outfield and then you're like tracking it and then your center fielder calls you off. You're like, watch her catch it.
Well, they said Scott enjoys playing center. You know, she'd played third earlier this year. Didn't really play center in high school. Getting the starts out there lately with Washington over at third, Martinez at short. Now 2 away for Jordan Stevens. Swing and a miss. Stevens is 0 for 2 tonight. Patrick Murphy called her the biggest surprise so far on the team, former number 15 overall recruit. Trying to come up big here with 2 away. 0-2 from Check. Got her. How about Estelle Check? 2 strikeouts in the inning. Sets down Alabama 1-2-3. And it remains a 5-3 game as we head to the bottom of the 6th. Full weekend of action here at the Bevo Classic. Texas's last big home tournament before conference play begins. Tomorrow we will see Texas take on Wisconsin and Alabama yet again. But before that, it's Texas State taking on number 9 Alabama. And then on Sunday, a couple more contests. You got the 9:30 a.m. matchup bright and early, Alabama, Wisconsin. And Texas won't take the field until 3 p.m. against Texas State to wrap up the weekend.
And we spring forward.
Oh, good point. I would have forgotten.
I wouldn't have let you forgot tomorrow.
How about this? Bella Dayton leading off an inning yet again, 3rd time tonight.
I think Texas likes to see it, except it means that the 8-hole has been pretty quiet for them today. I think they're trying to find one extra hitter. It's the 5th time today that she's let off an inning, so done a good job at being a leadoff down there in the 9-hole. But again, trying to find, that means that the 8 spot made the 3rd out has been not productive.
Dayton 571 this year when leading off an inning. Shows bunt as that one turns foul. New center fielder in there for Alabama, Kristen White, the freshman. Texas with 5 runs off 8 hits. Dayton 1 for 2.
I see now Alex Salter is able to handle 2nd time through the order, or 2nd time facing her, I should say. A nice outing so far, coming relief of Montana Fouts.
Swing and a miss. That tied up Dayton for strike 3.
Wow, what a pitch by Alex Salter. This shows you the type of movement that she's capable of. Inside corner, falls completely off the table. Bella Dayton kind of rolls over her front ankle there. You see she was on the side of her foot. Big out though to get Bella Dayton out.
Salter been very effective out of the bullpen. Pitched 2 1/3, no walks, 3 strikeouts. And just 3 singles allowed. Back up to the top of the order we go. Leanne Good is 2 for 3. Over to 3rd. Prangy's there.
Center fielder.
Here comes Mia Scott with the triple in the first inning, hitting .425 on the year. That big third inning was the difference. 5 runs for Texas. 3 hits, an intentional walk, an error by Alabama.
This has to be a confidence booster for Alex Salter and the way that she's thrown in this game, and to give her teammates and her coaching staff even more confidence in her to go into the big games like this. They know that they have Montana Fouts, that she can start a game, and we've seen her come even earlier this week in the game Tuesday and Wednesday, come in relief. She's used to following up.
Scott takes one to center field. White, who just entered the game, is there to make the grab. So here we go. 7th inning on the way. 8, 9, and 1 hitters due up for Alabama next. All right, here we go. This top 10 matchup going down to the wire. Number 9 Alabama down to their last 3 outs. Jenna Johnson, Faith Hensley, and Kenleigh Cahalan due up against Estelle Czech, who's looking to pick up the first save of her collegiate career.
Really?
Coming out of the pen to replace Mac Morgan in the 5th inning. Has retired all 4 batters she has faced, 2 via the strikeout.
I think what Alabama wants is for one person to be able to reach to try to get the bat in the hands of Ashley Prange with the game on the line. Right now, they go 3 up, 3 down. She doesn't get that to happen. It does not happen.
Called strike 1.
Just so shocking to me, because I feel like Estelle Czech has just done just about everything for Texas in the time that she's been here. I can't believe that it'll be her first save.
Been an absolute warrior in the circle for the Longhorns. Came on in relief the other night against UT Arlington. Falls behind here 2-1 to the 8 hitter Jenna Johnson, who's 0 for 2 with a strikeout.
Is continuing to throw that backdoor curveball to these right-handed hitters over and over and over again. These righties trying to figure out, okay, what's too far out of the zone, what's going to call a strike. Time to do some homework fast.
Estelle Czech with 40 strikeouts in 41 innings. Over to third. Washington is there. And Alabama down to their last 2 outs. There comes Faith Hensley. Mac Morgan looking on, trying to see if Czech can close it out. Hensley, the grad transfer from Ball State, and the reigning MAC Player of the Year, was hit by a pitch in the 5th inning and takes strike 1 from Czech. Shows bunt, drops it down. Atwood charging in, and Hensley is safe.
It's a great idea by Faith Hensley to lay down the most perfect drag bunt. Makes contact with this pitch well off the end of her bat, and it just deadens right out in front of home plate in no man's land. That is such a hard play for the corners, pitcher, or catcher to make a play on it. It was still pretty close at first, but Hensley beats it out to get on with the top of the order coming up now for Bama.
Huge single. And here comes Kenleigh Cahalan. 1 for 3. Singled in the 5th inning and came around to score. Prange on deck. Cahalan, as a freshman, leading the team in hits. Sends one to right field. That's going to drop in for a base hit. Hensley will hold up at second, and Alabama has the tying run at first.
And look at Alabama's averages with what they average against a left-handed pitcher. Faith Hensley has had success against left-handed pitchers with just a few at-bats, but batting over 500 against lefties. And Kenleigh Cahalan batting now over 450 against left-handed pitchers. And now Ashley Prange, if you're wondering about her, close to 400 against left-handed pitchers this season.
Prange, the fifth-year senior out of Indiana, the former transfer from Ohio State, having a monster final year for the Crimson Tide. Here's what she did in the fifth inning, down 5-0. Her 9th home run of the year.
That home run was huge. Alabama didn't have a run on the board yet. That was a 3-run shot that got them back into the game, and now they put the bat back in their hands with the game on the line.
Take strike one. Alabama didn't even have a hit in this game heading into that inning. It changed in a hurry. Prange this year with runners in scoring position, batting .524.
It's a good job by Reese Atwood blocking that pitch in the dirt. It's a bit off speed, but it has a ton of spin on it. I've been so impressed with the way that she's handled every pitcher that she's gotten to catch today.
Freshman replacing Katie Simmons behind the dish.
It's a great pitch. Ashley Prange is so good on the inside corner, but Estelle Czech is so good on the outside corner with that backdoor curveball to get ahead in the count.
Swing and a miss. A huge strikeout for Estelle Czech.
Striking out the best home run hitter in Alabama's lineup. She gets her to expand her strike zone on the outside corner. And what Estelle brings not only is pitch location in the outside corner like that, but also the emotion, a leader in the circle for this team.
What do you think Mike White is saying right now with Texas 1 out away?
Talking about the situation. Hey, we have 2 outs, 2 runners on, facing Allie Shipman. What do you want to throw? This is how we're going to attack her. Right now, it is fully just being on the same page with her going up against the 3-hole hitter in Shipman.
Allie Shipman was the last hitter to face Mac Morgan, doubled off of her, and that knocked Morgan out of the game. And she was replaced by Czech. The all-SEC catcher in her 5th and final season. And time is called.
It's a pitch that you can put a song on repeat. That's what the pitch that she's putting on repeat. Over and over and over again, right at the knees, outside corner, bends back in, catches the corner for a strike.
The 0-1. And Alabama down to their last strike here in the 7th. The fans rise to their feet here at McCombs.
It's a good eye, and that's the same pitch that Ashley Prange struck out on. With 2 strikes, Ashley Prange expanded her zone. Allie Shipman was on deck. She learned from the at-bat that Ashley Prange had before hers. Trust her eyes, takes that pitch.
again, doesn't get Shipman to chase. 2-2.
She's either going to come up and in under her hands or try to paint the outside corner again with that backdoor curveball. Missed it.
Full count on the way with 2 outs and 2 on in a 2-run game here in the 7th. Swing and a miss. Texas takes down number 9 Alabama as Estelle Czech comes out of the pen to register the first save of her career.
She did not give in. Hasn't walked a hitter in however many innings that you said, Alex, or however many days, and she is able to just paint the outside corner with this backdoor curveball, the pitch that she threw over and over and over again to right-handed hitters late in this game, and she gets that first save. What a game here late for Ashley Prangy to put Alabama back into the game and make it close and give her team a chance to win. And the relief outing that Alex Salter had for Alabama. And of course, the first career save by Estelle Czech. What a great game tonight.
This is just day 1 of the Bevo Classic. These 2 teams will be back at it tomorrow. 3 games in total tomorrow. Texas takes down Alabama 5-3, 5 runs off, 8 hits, 2 errors for the Horns, 3-5-1 for Alabama. For Amanda Scarborough, I'm Alex Loba. Send across the street and out of the dish. Greg and Keith with the call. Texas Baseball.